I wasn't going to make a part two to my thoughts about the huge Monday Night War yesterday, but I feel like I have to because I was reading a lot of the comments I was getting on my first video, and it just seemed like a lot of people was being repetitive in what they were saying to me, so I just wanted to clarify a few things. Now, first off, the first hour of TNA was bad. Now, I made a statement saying, well, TNA was great from start to finish. Now, I wasn't counting the first hour because remember, the Monday Night War started from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, so the first hour was excluded. Now, we all know the Steel Asylum match was a dud. The ending was botched. Homicide couldn't get on top of the damn cage. It fucked up. But I don't think no one was expecting Jeff Hardy to come out and do the thing that he did. Now, everybody was assuming Jeff Hardy was going to be there backstage maybe, but nobody knew that he was going to have an active role. Now, we found out today that Jeff Hardy signed a full-time contract with TNA, so now he's back in TNA. So that should be interesting to see what's going to happen. I'm assuming now that he's going to probably have a little feud with Homicide. So the second match, Terra ODB, yeah, that was a kind of a dud as well because it was very quick. And once again, Terra has a short title reign, which makes no sense. So I thought, in a sense, TNA had a chance to grab people's attention, and they did somewhat because WWE wasn't on yet, but they could have done it a lot better in the first hour. But starting from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I still think TNA kicked WWE's ass. It was just more exciting, more attention grabbing. Now, people are telling me, well, it felt like I was watching 1997 again. It felt like watching Nitro. I'm assuming Hulk Hogan's way of thinking was, let me bring back some of my old friends. Let me bring back some of the old mystique of the whole Nitro, Raw, Monday Night War days, and that will try to grab the fans' attention. And it did somewhat. People were intrigued by that. Now, I know a lot of people was disgusted about it, like, oh, I don't want to see 1997 all over again. But the fact remains, those people that came out still are somewhat of a draw. People are still interested in them. And I'm thinking, and I'm just assuming here that I'm thinking that Hulk Hogan's probably thinking, let me draw people in with known name, known talent from the past. And once those people come to watch the known talent, they're going to flip the script on them and show people like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels and the Motor City Machine Guns and see those guys wrestle and do their thing. And then the people will be like, well, this is good wrestling. These guys know how to wrestle. Let me stick with watching TNA then. So I think that's what they were probably trying to do. Because let's face it, they're not going to have Ric Flair on Impact every week. They're not going to have all these guys on Impact every week. So they were there for one reason only, and that was to get attention, to grab the fans' attention from WWE. Now, clearly, Vince didn't care about no Monday Night War. He wasn't thinking Monday Night War. TNA was. Vince came out and he gave basically Bret Hart and Raw. Raw was just a very typical Raw, but it just had Bret Hart in it. Now, the Bret Hart segments were good. They weren't extremely great, but they were good, and I really enjoyed it. And after I made my video last night, I was watching over and over again the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels segment. I was watching it a lot, and I did enjoy it more and more. Now, with the Vince and Bret Hart segment, it was very predictable what was going to happen. We all knew Vince had something up his sleeve, and he was going to probably turn on him. We've seen it plenty of times happen in the past. So that's definitely going to set up a match for possibly WrestleMania, which I'm not, not hating on, because I think Vince has had really good matches in the past against Hulk Hogan, against Shawn Michaels, against Stone Cold in the past. So he's had his little moments of having matches at WrestleMania or different kind of pay-per-views where it just went all out. So I think a Bret Vince match may be actually interesting, may be intriguing, because we all want to see Bret Hart put the sharpshooter on Vince McMahon. So going back to the whole TNA WWE thing, people keep telling me how, well, they just threw out all their money. TNA just had all these big guys. They're not going to do nothing. Well, obviously, once again, TNA's objective was to grab attention, was to get people to talk. And that's exactly what they're doing. Everyone's talking about TNA. I think the majority of the IWC will agree that Impact was a better show. Now, there was, I guess, in my opinion, three good matches on Impact. Hamada and Kong versus Sarita and Taylor Wilde. That was an amazing women's match. It was awesome to see. Of course, the main event was a great TV main event with Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. And I also thought the Pope and Desmond Wolfe had a good match. It was too short, but it was a good match. So they had better wrestling than WWE, which had Kofi and Orton, which in my opinion, their feud is done, is over with. Orton has completely taken over. It seems like the WWE higher ups don't seem too confident in Kofi anymore because Orton just completely dominated this feud now and is done and over with. And then you have DX versus the Jericho. We've seen them wrestle a couple of times already. They had a decent match. But once again, Jericho gets fucked over. And now, I guess he's officially now back on SmackDown. So it really was like nothing to Raw. It was just a very ordinary, lackluster Raw. But it had Bret Hart in it. And, you know, they could have had Bret Hart do more things, have more backstage segments with other superstars. But it didn't happen. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen next week with that. But as far as TNA is concerned, for that one particular night, TNA was great. It was awesome. They had an exciting atmosphere that people just felt good about watching wrestling. And I know a lot of the haters are saying all the bullshit about how it's so WCW and no one wants to see WCW again. But the fact remains, some people still do. I, in particular, I'm iffy about it. But I was drawn to what I saw and I liked what I saw. So that's what I want to get at. You know, a lot of people are making videos about it. Everyone has their own opinion, and it's great. I'm glad to see everyone have their own opinion about this subject, and it should be talked about because it's an exciting time in wrestling right now. So yeah, I'm just curious to find out what's going to happen next, and I'm interested in hearing more comments from you all because obviously everybody has an opinion on this. So it's good to talk about it, and I'm glad to get feedback. So talk to you later. Peace.